Hello and welcome to Finally Fabulous with me, Kate. Today I'm joined by the brilliant Sharon. Welcome, Sharon.
Hello, how are you, Kate?
I'm fabulous, thank you.
I'm glad to hear it.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you with us today.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be invited, thank you.
And there's so many reasons why I love you.
Oh.
First of all, I see you as an absolute Celtic warrior queen with gumption in your running through your very core of your veins. So it's no surprise to me that you've got plenty of fuck it moments for us to talk about.
Yes, I've had a few in my time.
Several. For me, when I talk about you to other people, I talk about you as having this kind of restless curiosity, and you're a massive advocate for underrepresented communities, especially for women, which is, another reason why I and everybody else will absolutely love you. For me, you lead with strength, compassion, and courage, and you have a really generous, inclusive spirit. You have a massive empathy for other people, and you're always looking to bring the best out of people and really encourage people to really stand up and lift themselves. And that's just testament to who you are. And it's an absolute privilege for us to hear from you today.
Thank you for your kind words.
And of course, aside from all of that, you're a mother of 4 strapping lads. You love to go rowing in your spare time when you can.
Very much, yeah.
And you've given a TEDx talk, and you've set up a foundation, a business called Lift as We Climb. And, there's so much to you. So here we are. Welcome. So I'm going to dive straight in, and we really want to focus straight away on how you advocate for women and inclusion, and generally creating a better world, not just for women, but by having a better world for women, it will be a better world for everybody, right?
I believe so, yeah. To be honest, in thinking about it, I'm not sure where it all started, but I'm just massively curious about people. I love learning about other people and other people's perspectives, especially the ones that are different to mine. And growing up in Ireland, it was a fairly homogenous kind of environment, a homogenous society we lived in. I think that bred a curiosity for me. But over the years, I've realized that I've a real strong kind of ethos. I don't know if ethos is the right word, but I really, really believe that every single one of us has something that is unique to us. Like Kate, you have something that is unique to you, that is only Kate McDougall. There's something that's unique to me that is only Sharon Wallace. There's something unique to each and every one of us. And if we can all work and live and grow in environments that lets that shine, really shine, if we all got to bring that to bear, wouldn't that be an amazing world? So I think from that kind of grows my sense of, everybody has something to offer. And I love to find out what it is about other people, and that where that curiosity comes from, I guess.
And one of the areas that you've been particularly driven in is particularly in the area of women in tech. So really supporting women, driving them, giving them a sense of belief that they can absolutely stand shoulder to shoulder with anybody else in the room and do just as good a job at that. Was that something that you saw during your kind of early journeys through university and, and going and your first jobs and things? Did you start to see, what was happening in the world, and that there was a place for needing to raise the bar on the awareness?
I'd say that probably didn't kick off until I started work, really, because I was very conscious in the workplace that it was a very, very male-dominated workplace. And there was very little progression. I saw very few women in the senior levels of the organization. And the ones that were there, they kind of have that kind of scarcity mentality, I think. That was what I saw. They used to call it a queen bee syndrome, whereby, there's only space for one of us at this top table, and by God, it's going to be me. And I didn't like that. And you experienced an awful lot of sexism as well, in just the day-to-day of working at the time, and comments passed. There was, I remember one of the few female leaders was in the organization. I was at at the time, and this is my early career in the 90s. And she went, you'll never go far, Sharon. You've got boobs and you don't play golf.
God, it's absolutely hideous, isn't it?
I think it's amazing being a woman. I love being a woman. It doesn't come without its challenges, let's face it. But
yeah,
there are so many instances whereby you can see how having women involved in more male dominant parts of the world, it makes a difference. It does make a difference. There's women are 52% of the population here in the UK. And there's a sense of fairness that needs to be there in representation.
I do feel that you do have a massive sense of, a massive resilience, and you do have quite a big, come on, bring it on. Not just for you, but also for other people around you.
I am pretty resilient. I think somebody once described me as having high levels of bounce back ability.
That's a good phrase.
I think you just cope. Yeah, sometimes you've no option but to cope, because like falling apart isn't an option. Yeah, you've got to just pick up and move on. I'm naturally an optimist. I've always been an optimist, and I think about things from the sense of, right, okay, so how do we make the most of the situation? How can I look at this differently?
So resilient. There is a natural resilience there, but it's not without tough times as well, which in a way have made us even more resilient to what's coming, and a lot of our experience will also help with that. And about 10 years ago, you gave a TEDx talk on women in leadership. And, that's for everybody to go and watch. And it's, when you watch it, it's interesting that some things have moved on, thank goodness, in the world, and some things still haven't moved on. What do you think in terms of kind of the biggest issues that we're facing?
I think one of the biggest issues is how people see feminism, and that feminism is just about women, which it isn't.
No.
It's about equality and fairness for everyone. We've ended up in a route of, like, okay, so this is for the women. Okay, this is an activity or a program or something for the women, and then we've got there's a lot of pride is predominantly for people from an LGBTQ plus community, and then so we've almost kind of not necessarily compartmentalized, but in doing so, we have lost sight of the fact that there are a lot of basically straight white guys who are, well, what about me? Where do I fit into this picture? Because we've almost gone too far down, and we've got so much work to do. I'm not saying that we shouldn't do the work that is being done to create equity, but we need to do it from an inclusive perspective, not from a diversity perspective. So not focusing on the diversity, focus on the inclusion. And I always talk about the first two letters of the word inclusion, I and N, in, and it's everyone is in. And I think because of that, that void and that vacuum and that feeling of not belonging for a lot of men, that we are seeing a rise in certain individuals who take very right-wing conservative views where women are concerned. That is something that really worries me. Yeah.
Totally. And what about at the leadership level? Are we seeing a shift in women sitting at the boards now? Or the impact or the influence of women at the senior level?
Not as much as I'd like. However, we are seeing some really amazing role models that have come to the fore over the last few years that have been real champions, but also as well role models in that regard of what leadership looks like it's just what leadership could look like.
And I know one thing that you talk about quite a lot is if you can mentor someone, if you see there's an opportunity with someone else that they just don't see it in themselves, or that you can see that there's a quality in someone, but they for some reason they think they're not old enough, wise enough, whatever it is, to speak out, is encouraging people to do that and encouraging others who can witness that to pull it out of people as well.
Yeah. No, I really believe in helping others and creating environments where people can achieve their potential and see it. And sometimes, quite often, other people see things in ourselves we don't see ourselves, and it's giving people the scope to appreciate that is a possibility. We have so many, quite often self-limitations, that if we're not aware of them, listening to somebody and say, like, that necessarily isn't true. What you think is limiting you isn't actually the case. Because where's the evidence? Where's the evidence to say that that's the limitation?
And it's about turning that into self-belief, isn't it? It's like, how can we shift that?
To really believe this as well and try and drill it into people. Two things. Okay, until you have the self-confidence and the belief in yourself, I want you to take stock in what I have, the confidence I have in you. Okay, so I'm gifting you that, and hang on to that until you build it for yourself. There's one thing. And the second thing is, don't wait for the confidence to come. The confidence never comes first for anyone. The confidence comes after. You have to do whatever it is to get the confidence that comes after. And it's just our willingness to step into that space of unfamiliarity, of being vulnerable, of saying, look, this is new. I've not done this before, but I'm prepared to give it a go and learn from it, even if it doesn't go the way I want it to go.
And I think that's what we like to call a fuck it moment. Where you just like reach out. Let's just go with it and see what happens.
Let's just fuck it.
Give it a go.
Give it a go.
Give it a go. And one of your many fuck it moments was actually stepping into that entrepreneurial position. And when you grew the business, a regional side of the business for Pampered Chef, actually. Yeah. And, you grew it to mass, earning huge amounts of revenue and bringing a load of people together and creating these fantastic teams. And that must have been incredible for you.
My first career, I always talk about my careers in 3 stages. And the first one was in technology. The second one then was with Pampered Chef. And that started off after I had my second son. And my husband and I had decided that I would stay at home and raise the boys as a stay-at-home mum. And that didn't last long. I
can't imagine that lasting very long at all.
Oh my God, I have every respect for the women that can do that, because I just couldn't do it. It ended up coming across the Pampered Chef, which is like a direct sales business. And I'd never thought of anything like that before, kind of career-wise for me. But it ended up quite by chance being my second career, because it grew arms and legs. It was something I loved because it involved people, talking, and food. I'm happy.
What's not
to like? Yeah. But we had a team of my team was about, I think it was as large as about 250 in size, covering Scotland, the north of England. We had a 1.2 million turnover in 2010, I think was it? 2010 was our hit 2010 when we hit the million for the first time.
Incredible.
That was only started that in 2005, so that was 5 years. So we were the quickest team to the £1 million turnover, and I learned so much in the 10 years with that. Just how much leadership mattered, and the importance of it, and the difference between good leadership and bad leadership, and what were the differentiators. It was brilliant. I was talking about this earlier today with some other colleagues, because it was the kind of business, like, everyone in our team was in essence self-employed. We were all independent representatives. So I wasn't anybody's boss. So I couldn't actually tell anyone what to do. I always said it was an ask business, not a tell business. And it's important to understand then why people are there, what are they wanting to get out of it, and ensuring that if by them achieving their goals, I'll achieve mine indirectly.
So then you came to the end of Pamper Chef, and that had finished, and that must have been, the end of an era, really,
Oh,
for
very
you.
much so.
Like, that was such a fantastic achievement. And then you went on to your next fuck it moment, which I absolutely love, which was deciding to go back to uni and do a master's, because why not?
Well, I was at a point, I was 46. I was coming to a bit of a crossroads. I'm like, well,
I love it.
What do I want my next steps to be? I knew I wanted to make another step, but I didn't know what I wanted to be. I knew what I loved, and that was, I loved leadership. I loved L&D. I loved growing people. And I had, over the time with Pampered Chef, I developed a really strong sense of my why. And that's to facilitate the growth and development of other people through creating environments that allow people to really thrive. And those environments need to be inclusive.
So going to do something that you would, you absolutely want to live and breathe, and you get energy from, and actually doing that as a course, and was really the icing on the cake. And I can only imagine that because of your experience, that you brought quite a lot of knowledge and different stories and things into the tutor tutorials, for people to learn from you as well.
So many of them, the other students, were literally half my age, that just come from their undergraduate into a postgraduate. So I was bringing, a lot of life experience in with that as well. So it did work, yeah.
And not just life experience in terms of job stuff and career stuff, but also how to drink people under the table, I imagine. I mean,
yes.
If anybody who tried to, challenge you at anything, what were they thinking?
I do remember a particular night out, a Christmas night out that we had, when we're all in the pub, and I was at the bar buying a round of shots, and one of the other students on the course came up, and I think he was mid-20s, and he just patted me on the shoulder to say, "Very well done. You're doing so well tonight. You're doing so well." And I was thinking, oh my God, you little shit. I was drinking before you were even born. So don't come at me.
Even thought about it. And I bet you showed him exactly, where he stood.
I tried to bring my compassion, but he knew where he stood.
That's fantastic. So you did your master's, and you learned so much more about leadership and people, how people work together, and how to bring people out from themselves. And do you think that was part of the foundation for later on in life when you co-founded Lift as We Climb? Is that something that you could talk to us about?
Yeah, of course. So Lift as We Climb came about when the two other co-founders, Laura and Raquel, were talking about the fact that they were senior women in technology, and quite often were the only people in the room. So how do you create community so that women can support other women in technology, but also as well how we can then come together and create intentional change. And it's not just about performative change, it's about sustainable, intentional change. So when that started off, that was very much based on the principles of intentionality, which is one of my favorite words, and thinking about intentional leadership. But intentionally as well, like when we talk about Lift as We Climb, every single one of those words matters. Lifting, so it's about, who do you bring with you? When you talked earlier about pulling together your team of people when a piece of work comes in, how do you bring them together by saying, look, I think you're really good. This is your SME. This is your value add. So I want you as part of that team. So we're lifting you in this team. We're greater than the sum of our parts. And lifting people as you go. I always say, if you are looking to make a move into your next role, and it'd be a different role or a more senior role, that you'll need to grow and develop to do that. So in doing that, you're going to create a space where you are. So how can you share, as you grow and develop, how can you share your learning with one or two other people so that they can then ideally step into your space? and be,
That's
and
brilliant.
that's, you mentioned earlier about mentoring. That is mentoring in essence as well, but just generally kind of just bring people with you. Leadership is not about, saying, right, okay, you as a team, off you go over there and do that task. It's about saying, right, come on, you're leading, you're going first. You're saying, we're going to do this together. It's a shared objective. We're all moving in that direction. We talk it's the fact that all these things happen concurrently. It's all happening in the moment and in the time. It's not, people often call it lift as you climb. It's not. That's about someone else. Lift as you climb. It's lift as we climb, because we're all in this together. And then climbing is the fact that that constant progression, that constant hunger for learning and movement as well. So the whole thing meant something as a whole in its entirety. Lift as we climb. So intentionality and community were the main things that were driving that forward.
It's incredibly powerful. It really is. It's very uniting. It's very welcoming. It's something that you really want to get involved in and to be a part of.
It's something I'm very proud of.
Yeah.
And we really believed in the fact, and we still do, the fact that women have so much to offer. And quite often, we don't often get the spaces to offer it. We don't often get the support to do it as well. So if that's what's happened to us, how do we ensure that it's not happening for others? Where are the doors you can kick down? How do you create space for other people? How do you kind of bring people along and show them, actually, this is a different path, but you can do this. Equally as well, pushing people to recognize the fact that, you can get beyond what you see as your own self-limitations. Now, you and I spoke earlier about my views, and I have quite strong views on this notion of imposter syndrome. I hate the term so much. I really push back on imposter syndrome. I think we've almost medicalized it. The history of it is, it started off as called imposter phenomenon, and the term first got coined in the 70s, and it was an academic term used to describe women in senior positions who felt a sense of not belonging, and because of the sense of not belonging, then not performing to their best of their ability. Self-doubt, it's just self-doubt. We are supposed to experience self-doubt, because if we were all cocky bastards, imagine how shite. It wouldn't work.
It wouldn't be a good place.
It wouldn't be a good place. No, it wouldn't be nice. So self-doubt is part of the process of how you grow, because you have to put yourself in a position of doubting yourself, go like, can I? Should I? Will I? How's it going to land? Where's the support? Do I have those capabilities? You have to answer those questions within yourself to be able to make that next step. For me, quite often, we've got to recognize that it's the environment that limits us, not us.
I think, and that is critical. It's absolutely critical.
Yeah.
And if you go in, if you can build your self-belief, and like you were saying right at the beginning when we talked about everybody has something unique that's unique to them, your own skill that's unique to you, understanding what that skill is, or finding out what that skill is, asking other people, what do you think I'm good at?
Yeah, that's probably a good exercise for people to do. And just go and ask, what do you think I'm good at?
So there've been a number of different fuck it moments in your life, and varying degrees of building again on your resilience from one after another. And one of probably the most scariest one for you was when your son Finn had cancer, and you had to stand side by side with him to fight his diagnosis to begin with, and then also to get the treatment that he needed. That must have been, instrumental to you in your life.
There are fuck it moments that come along that aren't ones you create yourself. They're situations you very quickly find yourself in, and there's a decision moment of like, how am I going to approach this, or where are we going to go here? When Finn was diagnosed, initially he was misdiagnosed with one cancer, and there was a whole pile of machinations and happenings in the background we didn't know about until we got a phone call from pediatric oncologist to say, actually, he doesn't have that form of cancer. He has this form of cancer, which is an aggressive children's cancer. And like, I've got goosebumps just even remembering that situation. Yeah. Not long before that, we had lost my sister to cancer. So this was just an unbelievable situation to be in. And I was very conscious of the fact that I needed to support Finn through his treatment, but also as well, the other 3 boys as well were like still reeling from my sister dying, and then getting them to realize this was different. This was, this wasn't going to be the outcome. This wasn't going to have the same outcome. I'm saying that I didn't know that, but
no, of course you didn't. But you had to believe that. You had to believe that to get him through and to get them through it, and yourself.
There was absolutely no way I could even countenance even the remotest discussion about any other outcome. Yeah. And I remember at one point, somebody was, I can't remember what they said to me, and it was about Finn. There was some challenge, and this was all happening during COVID, by the way. And then there was some challenge around what treatment Finn was going to have, and I was pushing back on the treatment that was being proposed, saying, could we look at a different option? And somebody had said to me, would you not want to just go with what they're saying? And I just remember this it was a rage that kind of boiled up inside me. And I remember saying to her, you have a choice here. You can either stand beside me or stand behind me. But when it comes to Finn and any of my boys, don't make the mistake of standing in front of me, because I'll mow you down. I remember that, and I actually frightened myself with the rage and the passion with which I felt. But it was, we're doing this, and Finn will be getting the best of the situations, the best of environments that I can create for him in that.
And it is just that, like, guttural, motherly, it's absolutely ingrained inside us. And we would do anything for our children. Yeah. And if you don't have children, you'd do anything for somebody who meant that much to you.
It was a real moment for me, because I recognized then the strength I had and all the past experiences that brought my resilience to that point, and how I was going to leverage it then in support of Finn. We would both say that it was actually a positive experience, that we both learned a lot and gained a lot from it. I remember once when he was starting his treatment, so Finn had hair down probably the same length as mine is now. Actually, kind of your length, and like a long hair like you have there. And he knew he was going to lose it through chemo. So he made the decision that he was going to cut it off and donate to charity, because there was the Little Princess Trust.
Good.
Because we just had a conversation with one of the nurses around, would Finn think he might consider wearing a wig, and when his hair went and all the rest. So we decided between the pair of us that we would fundraise. So we would say, okay, let's make this, let's turn this into a positive. That was just incredible. I remember we kind of wrote a post that went up on, I think it was Facebook. This would have been 2019, just before COVID started, and put a post up on Facebook about it. And then we'd sent a few texts to a few people and set up a Just Giving page. That we start that on the Thursday morning, and there was a few photos and all the rest. And then people started donating and donating and donating. And literally, I think we were something at £4,000 by the Friday evening.
Incredible.
It was really, really joyous. It was a real joyous moment at a time when it was like, right, this is a really crap situation here. He's losing his hair, getting cancer treatment. But look, in the end, he raised £16,000 for Teenage Cancer Trust.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. Congratulations to both of you. That's really, really fantastic. Yeah. And I think, to show that resilience as well, and, just so much to bring, like you say, so much joy from something that was frankly fucking scary, of going through and not knowing what was going to happen. I actually had cancer when I was 24, and as I was going into treatment, I had malignant melanoma, and it meant I had to have 2 years worth of chemotherapy treatment. At the time. That wouldn't be the case now, I'm sure. And I'd been seeing this, well, still do see him, the same hairdresser that I've been seeing since I was 19, and I still see him now because we've lived this whole life together. And I remember saying to him, so I'm going to get a wig and I'm going to bring it in. And he said, okay, bring it in. And then we'll cut both of your hair, like this hair and your wig, into the same style. So if you do need to ever wear it, it will look like it's the same thing. So I remember the day, and he was cutting my actual hair. And of course, people were coming in and out the salon, having their hair done, and they left to go. And then he would put my wig on to cut that. And as people walked out, they're going, I'm sure I've just seen her have her hair long, and now it's like short hair. Like really could cause confusion. There's not always answers in this life for the exact thing that's going to happen to you. There's a lot of uncertainty, and actually living through that kind of potentially life-changing illness like that, I think shows you more than anything that life is uncertain.
Absolutely.
And what you make of it, grab hold of it and make it into your own as much as you can. But like you say, these fuck it thing moments come completely crashing in the side, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you have to just use all of your strength.
I'm a huge believer in understanding what your core values are. Right. I think everyone should do some work on trying to whittle down what are the core values, and what are the ones that matter to me. Because I did that as an exercise, like, God, it must be 20 years ago now. And I go through, like, every 5-7 years, I'll go through it again. And I think it's a really important thing to do, because there's been times in my life where I've felt like discombobulated or unsettled or not unhappy with stuff, but the kind of unsure. And when you do the kind of excavation of how it is you're feeling, sometimes it's because one of your core values is being challenged. And if you understand what they are, it helps you understand why you're feeling the way you're feeling.
Yeah, definitely. I can really see that, because I react really badly when there's any kind of sense of injustice or something where, it's people not being generous or something, or just being kind. Actually, I can feel myself, like I really react badly to that. So, and it's interesting you say about doing values on yourself, because I work a lot with companies and, do a lot of brand positioning, brand strategy, and we always do brand values and values inside, internal values, employee values, and, company values so that employees know where they're, how they should behave when they're working for a company. But actually doing it for yourself is something that lots of people just don't think about.
Yeah.
So what are your values then? Come on, hit us with them.
My values, first and foremost, and it's always been my top one, integrity. It has to be integrity. That's the one. If that gets challenged, I'm in shaky water on shaky ground. Mixing my analogies there. Yeah, integrity has got to be the first one. I'm the only person I will get up with every morning, go to bed with every night for every day of my life. And I have to be at ease with the decisions I make. Yeah. That's first and foremost. Second one is kindness. I think we're called humankind for a reason. And
I like that.
Yeah, being kind. And being kind isn't, not to be conflated with being nice. They're different. Kindness, just in humanity, in how we deal with people, in how we show up, in simple things like, it could be the smallest things, like if there's a Costa coffee cup sitting beside a bin, pick it up and put it in the bin. It's just like,
yeah. Or could we just give you a friend of mine put a post out the other day, and she was just talking about kindness through giving.
Yeah.
So, if somebody needs a favor, and she's a single mother actually, and she was saying, I just always feel so guilty for asking for help. But actually, I realize that people like to give help. It's their way of giving, and it's another form of kindness. And so I'm like, okay, so if I can't help you with something, because whatever, you seem to be quite sorted and I don't know how to help you with something, I'll go and help someone else. And it's like, don't worry about it. It's just play it forward. You don't have to do something and then expect something in return.
Yeah. And kindness as well for me is coming from a position of like, okay, so let's be curious. Instead of going like, why did he do that? Or why did she respond in that kind of a way? Maybe thinking about like, I wonder what's behind that, and showing kindness in appreciation of in that regard. So that'd be the second one. Third one is friendship. Friendship means so much to me. And family as well is the two of them probably are amalgamated. Friends and family for me, the people, my tribe, like you mentioned earlier, having that tribe around me of friends and family is so important. Loyal, like trust is, I'm big on trust. And there is one that has kind of I've become aware of over the last few years that's kind of crept in. And I don't know if that's an age thing or just an experience thing, but vitality.
Yeah.
And that has helped me massively. I'm 55 now. The body doesn't work the way it did when I was 25 or 35. And it's living life with vitality is really, really important to me.
When you mentioned that to me earlier, I was like, yeah, Sharon. I mean, it's so, you just ooze vitality. It's like right inside your inner being. And I think, yes, it can be about our body's not working so much, although there speaks a woman who rose at every single point in time and is going on a competition at the weekend.
Yeah.
but that's, you're physically really fit and mentally really fit. And I think the way that you stand and you say and you give of yourself, and there's so much life inside of you, that vitality absolutely has to be one of your values.
I think my sister dying as well, like my sister never got to see 50. She died, she died 8 years ago, so she would have been 51 last month. I'm getting to see years that people don't always get, and you've got to celebrate that. And there's a brilliant book, actually. I was talking about it recently. Evenings with Maury. The whole premise of this book is this older guy was dying, and the younger guy said to him, "Would you rather have the youthfulness of 25 without having the knowledge and experience of the life you've led since, or have your 55-year-old body now, and with all that experience as well?" Anyway, the latter, always, every time.
Always the latter.
Yeah, because we are constantly growing. We're constantly evolving as human beings and developing what we, where's our value add in the world. And we've got to do that with intent and with vitality.
And also, being 55, we also get to learn from the 25-year-olds. So we get best of both worlds.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, Alice, my daughter, is 23, coming up to being 23, and she's constantly showing me and teaching me things I never knew this was about. So yeah, constantly learning. So we love your new values, and I love your tip around people doing an exercise in what are 2 exercises now, actually, as we seamlessly come on to the takeaways from our podcast. There's 2 takeaways that you've had already. There's one which is around doing an exercise of asking other people what they think you're good at. And I think that's really helpful and really useful to see. And also learning what your values are in yourself. So what's important to yourself. 2 really good tips from Sharon Wallace there. So thank you for that. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else that you would give as a message to people who are thinking about fear or self-doubt or a kind of crossroads of change? Is there anything else that you would say to people?
Trust yourself, listen to your gut, and trust yourself. And stepping into ambiguity, stepping into uncertainty is okay. It may not be instantly wonderful.
Terrifying. Yeah.
And it can be absolutely terrifying, as you said. don't be afraid to just stick your toe in and see.
And also don't be afraid to fail, and it's not about failing, because you won't have failed because you've had a go at doing it in the first place. So for me, it's like, don't think about it as a failing, think about it as a learning. Exactly. And if you really want to do something, don't not do it. Like, I know that's dreadful use of grammar, but just, go for it and give it a go, have a try. Because otherwise you'll always think, what if I had done that?
I don't want regrets. If I'm going to have regrets, no. I want them for having done things and said, that wasn't my best move, rather than saying, didn't do it, should have done it.
Yeah.
The coulda, woulda, shouldas. They never help.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then just to finish on, we want to talk about your moments of joy now. So what would you say really brings you your joy into your life now?
Rowing. Just when I think of a joyful moment, out on the water's lovely and still, nice bright sky, and just rowing. I find it so cathartic. I find it a real release for me. It does bring me a lot of joy. Cuddles with my doggy.
Oh, of course. What's the name of your dogs?
Queenie and Paddy.
Yeah, you and Queenie have to stick together in that house of testosterone, don't you?
Yeah, we're the sisterhood. Yeah.
You're actually at the moment in a stage where you're ready for your next life adventure as well, aren't you? So I imagine for you, that's like, what's going to be next?
Who knows? It can seem a little bit daunting because I don't know. Having been made redundant just there a couple of months ago, and I'm looking at a variety of different options of what my next steps will be, and so, like I was saying earlier, it's about saying it's okay that I don't know what the end game is yet. I don't know where things are going to finish up, but just take the next step and just take the next step and see how we go. See what happens, but just trust in the fact I'll figure it out. I will figure it out. Of all the evidence to say I've had other fuck it moments in my life, and things have worked out. So I'm trusting in that.
I have literally no doubt at all that you're going to figure it out and you're going to come back. Well, not come back, just be your incredible self more and more and take the world by storm. So Sharon, on that point, I would like to say, for me, even though there's another stage to you, you're already finally fabulous in our eyes, and we can't wait to see what's next. So thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. It's been an absolute privilege to talk to you and hear all your stories and hear all your fuck it moments and everything as well. And I'm so delighted to hear that Finn is back on his feet and hair long, showing you his music and soon to bring home loads of incredible art. So thank you very much, Sharon. Really enjoyed our chat today.